Now on CoastTV News.
Maryland gun law stands for now. The Supreme Court will not take up the assault rifle ban, but that's not the end of the story. Wiping the slate clean, how one event in Georgetown is helping get rid of criminal history and opening the door of opportunity. Trump trial, the defense now in control of the proceedings. We give you a recap from what was said on a volatile day. And the next generation of leaders, high school students meeting with Delaware's political representative.
And to be honest, it's about to get really hot in here because we're going to clock the 80s before the week is done.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to our News at 11. We begin tonight with the U.S. Supreme Court letting Maryland's ban on assault weapons stand. Monday, justices declined to hear a challenge to Maryland's law that bans 45 specific firearms, including the AR-15 and copycat weapons. Some gun rights groups called the ban unconstitutional and political, but justices declined to hear the case ahead of an appeals court ruling. Now, that does not mean that the issue is going away. 6 appeals on the same issue are pending at the Supreme Court from Illinois, and the Maryland case could also work its way back to the Supreme Court as soon as the appeals court makes a ruling. Donald Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, returned to the witness stand today for a third day of cross-examination relating to the payment that he made to an adult film star, Stormy Daniels. And as NBC's Yasmin Vesuvian reports, later in the afternoon, the defense called 2 witnesses.
It was a wild day in court today. Yet again, Michael Cohen, the star witness for the prosecution, finally finishing up his testimony. 4 days on the stand for Michael Cohen after redirect and recross as well. The prosecution is now rested. Now the case is in the hands of the defense, calling up 2 witnesses. First from Todd Blanche's office, a paralegal, and then Robert Costello, an attorney, in which Michael Cohen was deciding whether or not to retain in 2018 after his offices were in fact raided. During direct examination by Susan Hoffinger, Michael Cohen described Robert Costello as someone who was slimy, someone he couldn't necessarily trust, someone he did not tell the truth to. When Robert Costello took the stand, he was admonished several times by Judge Juan Merchan. At one point, Judge Juan Merchan telling him, "You cannot roll your eyes at me, sir. You cannot say geez in an open court." He cleared the court at one point of all journalists in order to further admonish both Robert Costello along with prosecution and defense. With that, trial is now in recess for the night, resuming tomorrow morning at 9:30 in the morning. Closing arguments next week, Tuesday, after Memorial Day weekend, going into deliberations likely after that. Back to you.
Now let's take a live look outside into the Ocean City area. Our first alert chief meteorologist, Paul Williams, joining us. Paul, not a lot to look at there.
Well, you know, and we talked about the dew point temperature and air temperature being so closely correlated a little bit earlier today. Well, now that's now coming to the form of some patchy fog that started to begin to manifest itself throughout our area. And of course, we have a big time warm up that's on the way before the week is done. Our Spicer Brothers camera in Salisbury, we're holding at about 57 degrees, and we're going to drop to 53 by 3 o'clock with partly cloudy skies in Salisbury. But we're going to stay clear till we get to the early morning hours, because that's where the concern comes into play for us. Now, as far as our expectation for Seaford is concerned, we'll have mainly clear skies, actually, but we have a coastal flood statement active for Accomack, Dorchester, Somerset, and Wacomico. That stays active for folks like that are in Cambridge, Hoopersville, Nanticoke, and Deal Island, but it's connected to the high tides. Coming up, we're going to talk about the fog, and we're going to talk about the big-time heat up, dude.
Thank you, Paul. On Monday, several state agencies got together to host a free clinic for people hoping to be pardoned of criminal charges. This particular event was in a Georgetown area, but the Senate Majority Caucus says similar classes have helped hundreds of people get the process started. With a little bit of help, Richard Jones has started the process of erasing his criminal record. Jones, who lives at the Pallet Village in Georgetown, is doing the work to give himself a second chance.
I don't want to end up dying there. I want my own place and be like a normal person, live like normal. I sit somewhere every day and watch people go by, and hurts.
The Clean Slate Act has made this sort of thing easier, getting rid of the petition that in the past he would have to file and making the whole process faster, which is important because state services hosting the event say the smallest of charges can make life harder even when you're trying to do the right thing now.
So having a record, even a minor record, even a record where you just have been arrested and you haven't been convicted or adjudicated of anything can cause harm. It can cause harm with employment, with education, with housing. There are just hundreds of collateral consequences potentially that can stem from a criminal record. So to be able to help somebody remove that barrier is very rewarding.
Monday, people looking to clear their record got free one-on-one counseling sessions, and for Jones, that's the first step on a path to a better life.
I'm standing up straight, so slouching over, wondering about what tomorrow's going to bring and things like that. And I can stand up straight now. I'm one step closer to being normal again.
The Senate Majority Caucus says initial estimates indicate more than 290,000 adults could benefit immediately from the Clean Slate Act once it is fully implemented, and that happens on August 1st. The Clean Slate Act was a slam dunk in Legislative Hall. It's the product of two different bills that were passed with enormous bipartisan support. And here are just some of the things that qualify for expungement on a record. Drug possession after 5 years have passed, miscellaneous drug crimes, forgery in the second degree, unlawful use of payment cards. The Ocean City Police Department was shocked to find their mounted unit pickup truck vandalized. This past Saturday, the Ocean City mounting unit parked their vehicle behind a shopping center on 118th Street at 5 p.m. After patrolling Ocean City during the Cruisin' OC event, they came back to find their vehicle vandalized. The Ocean City Police are hoping that somebody saw what happened here.
They went back to the truck and trailer, which was parked up on 118th Street, and had discovered one of the tires was completely deflated and the rest of the tires were in the process of deflating, along with finding an expletive word carved into one of our doors.
The OC Police Department is hoping that somebody saw something that night, and they are still investigating the vandalism. Taking a look across Delmarva now in Dover. Young Leaders of Tomorrow gathering for the Delaware Delegation Youth Conference. The crowd of high school-age kids got to rub elbows with Delaware Senator Chris Coons, Senator Tom Carper, and Representative Lisa Blunt Rochester. Some of the topics that were touched on included gun violence in schools, the fight over Roe v. Wade, artificial intelligence, and the war in Gaza, plus more. This conference was first started back in the late 1960s by the late Senator Bill Roth. Staying in Maryland almost 2 months after the collision with the Key Bridge, the trapped cargo ship Dolly was towed to shore today. You're looking at it right here, the movement of that. The Unified Command says that the ship was hauled from the wreckage site and moved 2.5 miles to Baltimore's Marine Terminal. This is a crucial step towards reopening Key Port, which could happen by the end of the month. Ultra-conservative Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi was killed Sunday, along with his foreign minister and 7 others in a helicopter crash in the country's remote northwest region. The 63-year-old president was returning from a ceremony for the opening of a dam in Iran's border with Azerbaijan. Edgar Trigetz reports on what comes next as Iran grapples with instability at home and abroad.
The United States had no part to play in that crash.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says Washington has no insight into the cause of the helicopter crash that killed the president of Iran and had nothing to do with the disaster.
It could be a number of things, mechanical failure, pilot error, you name it.
Iranian officials are investigating, but right now there is still no indication of what went wrong. Weather conditions at the time of the crash were cloudy and cool. Fog moved in as the sun set on Sunday night, complicating search and rescue efforts in the remote mountainous area.
We were asked by the Iranian government for assistance. We said that we would be willing to assist. It's something that we would do with respect to any government in this situation. Ultimately, largely for logistical reasons, we weren't able to provide that assistance.
The high-profile death comes amid Israel's war on Hamas in Gaza, which has escalated tensions in the region. Last month, Iran launched a drone and missile attack on Israel, its first ever direct attack on the country. It came in response to an apparent Israeli airstrike on Iran's consulate in Damascus. At home, some are not mourning the loss of Iran's president. He led a brutal crackdown on dissent after nationwide protests broke out over the death of a young woman, Mahsa Amini, in the custody of Iran's morality police in 2022.
We don't want to see anyone die in a helicopter crash. But that doesn't change the reality of his record, both as a judge and as the president of Iran, the fact that he has blood on his hands.
Funeral ceremonies for Iran's president will begin on Tuesday. I'm Edgar Tragitz reporting.
We have a lot more to get to this evening. Saving you money on travel fees, Spirit Airlines is cutting a cost that's always just so annoying to have to pay. And also the buzz around bees, the fight to protect our small pollinating friends so they can do a job that we all need them to do.
And if you need to know your Bay forecast, take a look. We're looking for 59 at 7 o'clock, 72 by noon, 77 by 5 o'clock, partly cloudy skies, and we'll warm to 72 degrees by 5 o'clock in Crisfield. We'll have your full forecast in just 60 seconds.
Welcome to First State Chevrolet, your hometown dealer in the heart of Sussex County on Route 113 in Georgetown.
First State Chevy would like to thank all active military personnel and veterans for their service with savings like these.
Save up to $8,000 on this 2024 Chevrolet Silverado.
5.9% for 72 months on 2024 Chevrolet Trailblazers.
Stop in or find us on the web at firststatechevy.com.
We're First State Chevrolet in Georgetown, where we put you, the customer, first. Together, let's drive.
When choosing windows and doors for your home, at Pella, it's your choice. We manufacture maintenance-free vinyl, fiberglass, and wood-clad windows and patio doors, all with lifetime warranties. High performance, energy efficient, and loaded with options to help make your house your home. Industry-first features and benefits make living easier and increase your home's value. Visit our Experience Center or call us today to schedule your free in-home consultation, where we bring the showroom to you.
We are expecting for a little bit of fog to kind of slow us down for the night, but at least we're not under a dense fog advisory as of yet. Take a look at the temperatures right now. We're at 54 in Rehoboth and in Lewis, but we're also holding at 54 degrees in Milton as well as Georgetown and in Delmar. Rehoboth, 54 degrees. We do have a coastal flood statement that's active for Accomack, Dorchester, Somerset, and Wicomico. Now, that's going to stay in effect until 3 o'clock in the morning. Basically, this is connected to the high tide, not because we have an enormous amount of rain that's on the way. And I always reemphasize that because I need you to know this is actually because of the water that's already there and that the water levels are just rising on a steady basis. But we are consistently telling you about flood advisories at the very least. High pressure is what's actually in control of our weather along the entire East Coast. So it's kind of erasing any probability of those scattered showers developing in our immediate future. Now, the high today, about 74 degrees, actually in Georgetown, 2 degrees warmer than that for the high in Salisbury, but ironically, 10 degrees cooler than that for the high in Ocean City. Now, as far as where we are compared to 24 hours ago, pretty close to the same temperature, actually. But here's a look at our expectations for tomorrow. 80 in Seaford, 81 in Harrington, 78 in Laurel, 71 in Lewis, but 64 in Rehoboth. The closer you are to the water, the much cooler you're going to feel and will be. Now, as we go inland, you'll notice we're at 80 in Easton and in Federalsburg, 78 in Cambridge, 79 in Vienna. And then to the south, it's cool along the coast, 66 in Chincoteague and Ocean City, but we're at 71 in Berlin and 77, for example, in Salisbury. Our expectations for Wednesday afternoon, listen, we're looking at 79, near 80 everywhere for tomorrow afternoon. And look at this, hardly a cloud in the sky, winds out of the south. So we go into the late night hours. The winds are still pushing out of the south with temperatures in the 60s. Our muggy meter, we got to pull that out of the closet now because guess what? We're going to escalate to that humid to very humid possibility for us Thursday going to Friday because temperatures are going to be way up there. I don't know if it's going to be record breaking, but it'll be in the neighborhood. Take a look at our expectations from, let's say, Fenwick Island to Milford. Winds are out of the south, 4:30 in the afternoon for Wednesday. We're looking at 69 in Rehoboth, 62 in Dewey Beach, but farther inland we go, we're at 83 for the high in Milton, Georgetown, Millsboro, and 84 in Milford with all kinds of sunshine. And so that's what we're looking forward to. Finally, here's a look at your Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling extended forecast. We go from 77 on Tuesday to 84 on Wednesday to thunderstorms on Thursday, but we're still at 81 degrees by the time we get to Friday. And perhaps another somewhat soggy Saturday is what we are expecting in the forecast.
Just never wants me to golf again. Native bee populations in the first state have been declining. Our meteorologist Alex Seymour is taking a closer look at why we're seeing these losses and what we can do to help save the bees.
A native sweat bee gathers pollen from a flower of a foxglove beard tongue, while a native two-spotted bumblebee feeds off the nectar of a nine-bark shrub. Scenes like these are becoming less and less common. In fact, native bees are being threatened by a wide range of attacks.
The big ones are habitat loss, habitat fragmentation, habitat degradation, climate change, and pesticides.
These threats are having such a big impact on Delaware's native bees that 11 species native to Delaware are considered species of greatest conservation need. These native bees play a vital role in our ecosystem's health, so it's a big deal if we were to lose them.
Native bees are incredibly important, and that's because there are many species that are specialist bees that will only forage on one or a few species of plants, and without those native bees, those plant species would not be able to spread and reproduce.
So what should we do? How can you help? Turns out we can all do our part to protect these native bees by just taking a few simple steps.
Habitat connectivity is a very important thing. If you put a little tiny pollinator garden in your front yard, it may not seem like a lot of habitat, but it might be enough to provide a corridor to connect pollinators to another patch of habitat.
Native bees play such an important role in maintaining the health of our ecosystem, so it's important that we all take steps to save the bees. I'm meteorologist Alex Seymour in Milton, Coast TV News.
Delaware is committed to protecting our buzzing friends through the state's beekeeping law. Now, if you don't know what that is, the legislation appoints a state apiarist to oversee bee health. That includes inspecting hives, promoting beekeeping education. According to state law, all honeybee colonies, they need to be registered, they need to be inspected. The state supports beekeepers with services like swarm removal, pollination, and the free pesticide application notification system that's called BeeCheck. All of which brings us to our Coast TV poll. What we want to know is, what should be the prioritization when it comes to saving bees? How should we prioritize them? Let's take a look at the updated results from earlier this evening. And this has been the leader all night long. Most folks are saying habitat protection. That's the big deal. Limit development, that is coming in number 2. It's actually a smaller margin than what we were seeing early this evening, but it is still the 1 and the 2. If you want to go be a part of this vote, it's easy to do. Go to coasttv.com or use our Coast TV mobile app. Targeting lower prices, the latest major chain to cut prices on goods that most of us use every day. And next, cyber attacks on water systems, new warnings from the EPA that are going to shock you.
Hear that sizzle? That's not just the sound of McDonald's sausage about to make someone's day. It's also your delicious wake-up call.
It's one sizzling deal. Get 2 sausage McGriddles, sausage biscuits, or sausage burritos for just $3.33.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
When you're close to the land and the sea, you can taste the goodness. The historic Lewis Farmers Market brings farms closer to tables. Meet the growers, talk to the people that milk the cows, and pick the perfect peaches. Organically grown fruits and vegetables, sustainable meats and eggs, A2 dairy products, artisan breads, and fresh local seafood. The historic Lewis Farmers Market is in the George H.P. Smith Park at DuPont and Johnson Avenues in Lewis every Saturday from 8 to noon.
Summer's back and so are the deals during the Memorial Day sales event at McGee Motors.
Get a Chrysler Pacifica with 2.9% for 72 months, plus over $10,000 off. Low payments are back. Jeep Compass is just $189 a month.
Drive a Ram 1500 for just $309 a month, or take 15% off a 2500 4x4.
Or hit the beach in a 4-wheel drive Jeep Wrangler Sahara, just $359 a month. Summer is back.
At McGee Motors in Georgetown, a family tradition since 1948.
At Atlantic General Hospital, we've been busy. Busy expanding healthcare services that are second to none in our region. From cancer care and women's health services, to orthopedics, gastroenterology, and more, we provide advanced health technologies delivered by top providers. Expert care every day. It's what you can count on from Atlantic General Hospital.
The perfectly melted cheese, the juicier patty, the golden bun, it's all here. Rubble, rubble. Well, it was a second ago.
Now that's a steal. Grab a medium double cheeseburger meal for just $6.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Delmarva's hit music station, 102.5 WBOC.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
Well, listen to this. The Environmental Protection Agency is warning of a cybersecurity threat to public water systems. The agency says 70% of the water utilities it inspected don't meet the standards from the Safe Drinking Water Act to prevent these kind of attacks. Some of the issues include outdated passwords and easily compromised login information. Officials say China, Russia, and Iran have all already disrupted water systems with cyber attacks. Here's something that could save you a few bucks. There is good news for Spirit Airlines travelers, and it comes after the company announced that it will no longer charge change and cancellation fees. And guess what? It's not next week, it's not next month, next year. It's effective immediately. Prior to the new rule, Spirit used to charge travelers anywhere between $69 and $119 for ticket changes and cancellations. Depending on how close to departure the customer made the change, the decision now marks a shift for budget airlines. Longtime pricing approach, and the announcement comes just days, this is important here, just days after Frontier made a similar move. And speaking of saving you money, starting today, Target has announced it's slashing prices on more than 5,000 popular and often purchased items, including grocery staples like milk, paper towels, and other goods. And it's receiving a trim pricing range from meat and fruit and bread. Many of the reduced price items are going to come from Target's two store brands, Good & Gather and Everspring. Coming up in sports, the Henlopen Championship up for grabs in softball. Sussex Central and Lake Forest vying for the crown. And next, near record travel. It is going to be the busiest Memorial Day in decades. We look at the best and worst times to be on the road.
And if you're trying to golf tomorrow, you can get on the road and enjoy yourself, because this is one of the days I'm not trying to keep Charlie from playing golf. In fact, go golfing, Charlie, and everybody else like Charlie, because guess what? Conditions are going to be excellent. Mostly sunny and pleasant and 77.
We're Coast Country, and we're Delmarva proud.
On Coast Life, celebrate the resilience of brain tumor survivors through an inspiring local art event. Plus, see how one student's innovative shoe drive is making a significant environmental impact. Coast Life, tomorrow at 4 on Coast TV.
Our soldiers are heroes who protect our country, but when they come home, it's up to us to help our heroes. Now, during FH First Spring Into Giving campaign, for every $29 cooling system tune-up we perform, we'll donate that amount directly to Wounded Warrior Project. FH Fur Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning, and Electrical. Call 877-CALL-FUR or visit FHFur.com to schedule your $29 cooling system tune-up and use hashtag #SpringIntoGiving to share how you're giving back.
Nearly 30 years ago, Mediacom was founded on a powerful idea: bring cutting-edge broadband to underserved communities. From coast to coast, we connected 850,000 miles of fiber. Our team broke speed barriers, delivered 1 gig speeds to every customer, has led the way in developing a 10G platform, and now with Mediacom Mobile is offering the fastest, most reliable network on the go. Mediacom, decades of dedication, decades of delivery, decades ahead.
Trucks cost less with Preston during the Memorial Day sales event right here at Preston Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. From now until June 3rd, you could save over $11,000 off MSRP on a Tradesman Ram 2500. Shop hundreds of Rams on MillsboroCDJR.com and see why we say trucks cost less with Preston. So don't miss the Memorial Day sales event right here at Preston Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. Trucks cost less with Preston.
Now's the time when the great outdoors becomes your living room. Let Johnny Janosic make your outdoor space more relaxing and enjoyable. Shop now during our Memorial Day outdoor furniture sale and get 20% off our everyday low prices. Or choose 0% APR financing for 60 months. Now's the best time to elevate your outdoor living experience. Don't miss the Memorial Day outdoor furniture sale at Johnny Janosic, Delaware's premier outdoor furniture destination.
Have fun and enjoy Delmarva's Coast with Petey the Peacock, sharing joy coast-wide. Know where he's going to be next and get his free coloring book at peteythepeacock.com. Sponsored by Tidal Health.
Memorial Day weekend is expected to be one of the busiest travel weekends in nearly 2 decades, according to AAA. So, when's the best time to avoid the roads? Jen Sullivan has tips for travelers driving or flying to their destinations in today's Consumer Watch.
If you're driving or flying this Memorial Day weekend, expect plenty of company on the roads and in the skies.
We're expecting the second busiest Memorial Day weekend of air travel since we started tracking at the beginning of the century.
AAA estimates nearly 44 million people will travel 50 miles or more this holiday weekend. That's a 4% increase from last year. Most people will be driving to their destination, with more than 38 million drivers expected to be on the roads. So, when's the best time to avoid the traffic?
We see the busiest times to be on the road is Thursday and Friday evenings, when you've got the travelers mixing in with the regular commuters.
Heading out before 11 a.m. on Thursday or after 7 p.m. on Friday and returning home after 7 p.m. on Monday night is the best time to be driving. And when it comes to gas prices, expect to pay slightly more this year. The national average price for a regular gallon of gas as of Monday was $3.59, according to AAA. That's about 5 cents higher than this time last year. If you're driving, it's not just your tank you should check.
Folks should check their tire pressure, make sure everything in their car is in working order before you set out on a long road trip.
Airports will likely see a spike in travelers too. More than 3.5 million people will be flying. It's expected to be the most crowded Memorial Day weekend at airports since 2005. So give yourself plenty of time to check in and get through security. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Lake Forest softball was out to avenge a regular season loss to Sussex Central as they faced off in the Henlopen Championship. Lake Forest got things started early in the first 2-on. Kara Sumter drops it into the center field gap. It rolls to the fence. Sumter drives in 2 runs and slides in for the triple. 2-0 Lake. Then Rylan Rust grounds it to third. The Golden Knights get the out at first, but Sumter goes for home and gets in before the tag. Spartans up by 3. Then Sumter is grooving in the circle with 3 no-hit innings to start. And tossing one of her 8 Ks in the game for the Golden Knights, Mage Layfield sits down 5 in a row, ending 2 shy of 1,000 strikeouts in her career. And then moving to the 4th inning, Sussex Central gets back going on offense. Back-to-back singles. Then Ava Brock knocks in the Golden Knights' first run with another single. Central trailing 3-1. Bottom 4 Lake freshman Riley Bell smacks it to left, putting the Spartans ahead 4-1. In the 7th, Sumter closes it out in the circle, and Lake wins the Henlopen Conference title for the first time since 2017. After the game, Sumter talked about the team's outlook for the state tournament.
Our goal is at least 3rd round, but honestly, I want to go all the way. I know our girls want to go all the way. Bailey, Katie, Chloe, we've said it before at practice. We're preparing for it. We're going to do everything we can.
That'll do it for sports. Have a great night.
In health news, it's a whole new world since marijuana started gaining legal status in a number of states, including Delaware and Maryland. But new research shows that cannabis poisonings have tripled in one demographic, and here's the interesting part. It's older adults. Now, these are numbers that are from Canada, so keep that in mind. It's from the journal JAMA Internal Medicine. Researchers say that edibles are becoming increasingly popular among older adults, including baked goods, candies, and beverages. But some of those users may be unaware of the strength of today's weed. The study finds that the largest jump in emergency room visits for cannabis poisoning is among seniors. That contradicts the theory that it's mainly young people enjoying legalized weed. Coming up next, just tooling around, otters getting innovative in the hunt for food.
The UV Index Weather Report is sponsored by Ocean City Tourism. Somewhere to smile about.
Make dinner good tonight with Hardee's new tender platters. Crunchy, juicy chicken dipped in buttermilk and hand-breaded, served with garlic toast, fries, slaw, and an ice-cold drink. Delicious, down to the very last crumb. Hardee's, goodness in the making.
Termites are here. Protecting your home starts with Rice's Termite Defense. Rice's Termite and Pest Control has been the trusted name in termite treatment for over 30 years. We start by using the best products on the market, combined with an industry-leading warranty that protects your home year after year. Right now, get $50 off any termite treatment. Call or visit us online at delmarvasbestpestcontrol.com for a free termite inspection. Rice's Termite and Pest Control, where protecting your home is the family business.
The Subaru car has been an awesome change. It is definitely something that's reliable, safe. Gateway Subaru had what I was looking for. The dealership was just wonderful to deal with. Gateway really nailed it, and you didn't feel pressured. They were more compassionate, willing to work with you. So Gateway provided me with the cross-check that I needed, and I'm very comfortable with. Walked out with the keys in the car the same day, and it's been running beautifully. And I love my Subaru.
Spring is fading fast. No more waiting. It's time to get the deck of your dreams started. Paul Davis will design, build, or resurface any size deck with the highest quality materials.
Our AZAC decks are scratch, fade, and insect resistant with a lifetime warranty. We'll bring the showroom to you, provide you same-day estimates, handle permitting, and guide you through the HOA approvals.
Save big. Enjoy 20% off plus a $1,000 gift card free towards outdoor furniture from Donaway when you invest in your new deck. Call Paul Davis for a free estimate.
Spring into adventure at IG Burton Chevrolet. Drive a brand new Silverado with up to $8,200 off MSRP. Or check out an Equinox all-wheel drive with $5,750 off MSRP. Both are available with 1.9% APR and no payments for 3 months. Discover huge savings and great lease payments across our entire lineup. Details at IGBurton.com or any IG Burton Chevrolet location in Melford, Seaford, Lewis, or Berlin. Nobody beats a Burton deal. Nobody.
Now at Hardee's, 2 hand-breaded chicken tender wraps are only $5. Choose your favorite flavors for endless combinations. 2 wraps, just $5. Hardee's, goodness in the making. Get exclusive offers on the Hardee's app.
Finally tonight, it would be scary if it wasn't so adorable. Sea otters are using tools to go after new forms of prey when they can't find their favorite types of food. That's according to a study published in the journal Science. They found that when otters face more competition for their favorite foods, they often use tools to pry open the shells of harder and larger prey that they otherwise wouldn't be able to eat. And here's an interesting tidbit. They say that this was particularly important for female otters since they're a little bit smaller than the males and aren't able to bite down with as much force. The ladies leading the way on innovation.
It's probably with every species the ladies are leading with. I'm just saying. All right, so Hershey's exterior camera, Ocean City. We're looking for temperatures staying in the 50s with partly cloudy skies. There's a bit of fog that's actually forming in a lot of areas, so be mindful of that. Doug, you're our winner from Laurel. Congratulations, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling. Our 5-day UV index is now about to skyrocket. Take a look. We're looking at 9s across the board for the next 3 days in a row, so very high. So you will need your sunblock. That's right. Everybody will need their sunblock. I'm just going to say it like that. By the way, flood advisory is active for right now, and if you want to keep up with your weather forecast, call 443-880-9100. Your forecast is just a call away. Sponsored by Baird Mandela's, Brockstedt, and Federico. Here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. We go from 77 on Tuesday to 87 on Thursday.
Thank you, Paul, and thank you for joining us for Coast TV News at 11. For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, it's next. And we'll see you tomorrow for Coast TV News at 5 a.m. Have a great night.